a small business.
A business's main way to communicate with its clientele is through its call center. This is achieved via the call queues in 3CX. A caller will be placed into a nice orderly queue, and their call will be distributed to and answered by an available agent. In this short video, I will show you how to configure a call queue in 3CX in a few very simple steps, and then we will see the various features available in the queues. In our call queues page, we will go and add our queue. We will give it a name. We will define the virtual extension number and select the polling strategy from one of the various options. We will define the ring time. The ring time is by default 30 seconds, but you can increase or decrease that according to your requirements. We can assign a DID to have the call forwarded from an external location directly through to the queue. We can define our destination if no answer. We can trigger the destination if no answer after a certain amount of time. I will change that to 2 minutes. And the destination will be an external number. Select the music on hold that the callers will listen to while they're waiting for their call to be answered. We can select our intro prompt. We can add a pre-recorded prompt or record one directly from the phone. I will record this just before we finish the configuration after we've seen what options we have enabled. And we have the option to play the full intro prompt before calling the agents. We can announce the queue position to the caller after a certain amount of time. So every 30 seconds in our demonstration, the caller will hear their position in the queue. And we can change the queue language for the prompts from here as well. We can select any one of our downloaded prompt sets. Moving on to the agents, we will go to add the users that we want to answer the calls coming into this particular queue. I can do a search of my users based on pages. I can also use the search bar to do a search based on user number, first name, or last name. So I have chosen my 3 users that will be answering the calls coming into the queue. Since it is prioritized hunt, I will put Mr. Malcolm to answer the calls first. Going to the Advanced tab, I can enable callback. I can have the user trigger this by themselves by pressing 2, so I would need to put this into my intro prompt. If I want, I can also offer this to the caller after a certain amount of time. It gives a bit of time for my agents to answer the call, but if they don't answer, we can give the option for the callback so the person is not waiting indefinitely on the call. And we define the timeout for the callback. I can define a callback outbound prefix. This will be prepended to the calls to prevent malicious callbacks and to control where we want callbacks to be made to. We will do this through the outbound rules. After an agent finishes with an incoming queue call and they hang up, they will have a certain amount of time to wrap up the previous call before going and answering the next one. We'll define that as 20 seconds. We can define the maximum callers in the queue. This is for both people waiting and being serviced. If we have multiple queues and we have the same agents in multiple queues, we can define a priority queue. So the priority queue will basically allow the callers within that queue to go to the agents first. As this is the only queue that we have on this particular communication system, we will not define this. The service level agreement time in seconds, this is the amount of time that the particular company wants the calls to be answered in. We'll define that as 60 seconds. All calls waiting longer than this will be considered as a breach of the SLA. When messages come in through chat and are answered by the agents in the queue, we can automatically assign the chat to the first responding agent or have them take it manually. We can define the queue recording behavior. With this option enabled, the caller can define the behavior of their recording. For example, we can allow the caller to opt out of being recorded. This is basically going to be recorded by default. However, this is not GDPR compliant. The second option asks the caller to be recorded. It is an opt-in, and this is GDPR compliant. Finishing off on this page, we will have the statistics reset at a particular time. Daily at a particular time. Let's put that to 9 o'clock. We can have it weekly on a particular day at a particular time, or monthly on the first day of each month. We can also reset the statistics manually by pressing the reset button. Moving on to the notifications tab. Here we can select the queue managers for this particular queue. Again, very similar to adding agents to the queue, you can do a search based on user number, first name or last name, or go through the pages. And we can select the notifications that they will receive via email. The Click to Talk option allows callers to contact you via just a URL, directly from your website. We will cover more on this in the messaging module. The Click to Meet option allows people to contact you via the 3CX video conferencing functionality. Once they click on the link, they will enter into a video conference and your agents will be notified of someone waiting in the meeting room. And they can click the link either through their chat interface or through the email notifications to join and assist. Before we finish our configuration of the call queue, coming to the General tab, we will define our intro prompt. We will give it a name and select the user that we will record the intro prompt from. All we need to do is answer the phone and follow the prompts.
Record your message, then press hash.
Hi, this is a demo prompt. Press 2 for callback. Press 3 to opt in to recording.
To save message, press 0. Your message saved.
So we have recorded our demo prompt. We assign it, and we click on OK. Now going to the web client of one of our agents, we can go to the panel, and in the drop-down box, select our queue. We can see which agents are logged in or logged out. And as this particular agent is also a queue manager, they can log other agents in as well. To log themselves in or out from the global logging in and logging out functionality, they can do that from here. But from here, they can explicitly log themselves out, and if they go to log into the queue, they will not be logged in. So let's go and make an incoming call to our queue.
Hi, this is a demo prompt. Press 2 for callback. Press 3 to opt in to recording.
So the call has started to ring on our agents, and we can see Malcolm is the one ringing first, as we defined him first in the list of agents. I've pressed 2 for the callback now.
You have requested a callback to the following number. 104. Press star to confirm. Press 0 to change callback number, or press hash to cancel.
Okay, I'm pressing star to confirm.
Thank you. An agent will contact you shortly.
Okay, so now we can see that a queue callback is being made to the extension number that I have made the call from. Let's answer that call. Okay, and it is making an incoming call to that particular caller. I just need to answer that. And the call is established between the two people. I'm going to make another incoming call now so we can see what happens when it breaches the SLA. Okay, I will press 3 to opt into the recording. At this point, we should be able to hear the queue position as well.
You are at position 1 in this queue. Please wait to be connected.
So we heard that as well. And it's almost time for this call to be put into the SLA breach status. And after a minute of waiting, it is now in a breach of the SLA. In the event log of 3CX, we can see that an SLA for this queue has been reached, and we can also see the previous callback that was requested as well. And we can also see that notification being sent via email. And finally, after the 2-minute mark, we can see that the call has gone to the destination if no answer, which is an external call. Now in the 3CX panel, we can see the number of calls that have been serviced and the number of calls that have been abandoned. This will not show on the screens of any agent's phones, but it will show up in the web clients and the desktop apps. And by going to our calls page, we can go to the drop down of abandoned and see the abandoned calls in the queue.